Alrighty. Cool. Cloud service models today. Yes, last time there was a fire. We could not go over everything. So I'm going to quickly explain everything that we missed in a very quick crash course so that you guys understand. And then we'll do a quick 3, 4 questions so that we have everything solidified as well. Okay. So what we learned is the 5 characteristics of cloud computing. Can anyone explain the 5 characteristics of cloud computing? Can you explain 2 characteristics?
Plasticity,
Mm-hmm.
pay to no, pay as you walk. I forgot something about this.
Pay as you go. Perfect, perfect.
That's all I can recall.
All right.
Sorry.
That's all good. Can someone else give me 2 more? Can you give me 2 more? Uh, I'm not. Wait, 1 second. Take your time. Two more. Think network access as well across the world. Starts with B. Oh, yes, that's one. Yes, on-demand self-service. 4. So there's one called broad network access. All right. Now, 5th one. Can give me someone give me the last one. Yes? Oh, perfect, perfect. All right. If you guys remember, that is exactly the time when we got the fire alarm and we had to evacuate last time. Alrighty, cool. So those are the 5 characteristics that you need to be aware of. This is very simple. I'll quickly explain what these mean again for people who were not here last time. Rapid elasticity basically means that if, let's say, we have, last time I gave you an example that we have a guy named Ramesh. Okay, Ramesh created, let me draw Ramesh. Ramesh created 200 servers. All right. So what is that? He had to guess capacity, right? And can someone explain what the drawback of guessing a capacity is? Someone, anyone here? Also, Krish, can you close the door? Too much noise.
I forgot the name, but it's like over capacity, over something.
Perfect. Yes, overfitting, underfitting basically makes sense, right? So essentially, what's your name, brother? Rama, right? So what Rama is saying here is that let's say if Ramesh had thousands of customers, all right, and each customer can only have one server, that is called underfitting, all right? So we have less service for the amount of customers that we have, right? So he cannot change the service immediately because it has to go through a set process and it actually takes 6 months or maybe 3 to 6 months for the service to come in and to get 1000 service. So that is completely wrong, right? So that is one problem that we take a look at. So rapid elasticity in AWS fixes that. We can change the servers in seconds. We can go up or down, sideways, horizontal scaling or vertical scaling, which I'll go over, I think today, if we have time. Then pay as you go basically means you pay as you are going, right? If I want to buy one server, I will only pay for one server. I do not need to pay for 10 servers because I think 1,000 people would come in. On-demand self-service is basically saying that if I want to create a website right now, I don't need to go to Bhavin and say that, Bhavin, can you please create these many servers for me? I can just do it all on my own and at any time I want. Broad network access, in simple terms, basically means, let's say Ramesh is here and Suresh is right here. So all of these people will communicate with each other using the internet. All right. And using the internet, when they communicate with each other, they basically can access the same kind of network, same kind of application that they're creating across the globe. So that is your broad network access. And last but not least, resource pooling. Essentially, what resource pooling means is that we have, let's say, multiple different servers. These are application. It goes to one application, let's say a game, let's say that's Among Us. All right. It goes through a game called Among Us. It will go to multiple different containers. So that is basically called resource pooling, which I will go in more depth in as well. All right. So, do you guys have any questions about these 5 characteristics, or can we move on from here? Because after this, I'm going to ask you questions. So, everyone good? Perfect. Cool. All right, time to ask you guys questions. An e-commerce company is considering to migrate its website, and these are exam questions, by the way. Okay, so be very, very careful. These are questions that you will see in the exams, and I have curated it myself. An e-commerce company is considering migrating its website to the AWS Cloud to improve its scalability and reduce cost. Which statements, and you have to select 2 here, explain the business value of migration to the AWS Cloud? So choose 2. I'm going to give you all 2 minutes right now. Usually it should take you only 1 minute. So 2 minutes. Discuss amongst yourself. You don't need to think alone. Discuss, and everybody, please answer a question. And whoever gets the questions right, next time I've also ordered some merch as well, so you guys will get some gifts as well. So please, let's have a discussion. Oh yeah, zoom in. Yeah, sure, sure, sure. Zoom out or zoom in? Oh, okay, cool, cool, cool. There you are. Do you want to maybe bring the screen there so that they can see people from there as well? Yeah. Do the charge it. Okay, okay, cool. There should be some background music, right? Oh yeah, sure. That's the question again. An e-commerce company is considering migrating its website to the AWS Cloud to improve its scalability and reduce cost. What statements explain the business value of migration to the AWS Cloud here? Can you open the door? Actually, so take this key. That's the key for outside. Have you guys got the answer? All right, so I'll take 2 people, volunteers, who wants to answer. Remember, these are for gifts, so raise your hand. All right, you two.
Okay, think number 3.
Number
No, number 2.
number 2.
Number 2 and 4.
All right, so 4 is definitely not one of them. All right, unfortunately. All right, so let's here my strategy for the exam was always process of elimination, guys. Okay. Remember, it says, look at the keywords. It says business value of migration to the AWS cloud. So it says business value, right? So think about how you can make money. That is what you need to be taking into account. Applications are modernized because migration. Now, bullshit. That's bullshit. All right. We don't care about modern architecture. Things in AWS are from 2005. Okay. So that does not make it modern whatsoever. So it's between the first 3. All right. You are right about number 2. However, wait 1 second. What is number 3 again? Migrating to AWS Cloud offers e-commerce company access to advanced analytics and machine. Technically, yes, companies are migrating to can benefit from improving service level agreements. All right. So, unfortunately, number 1 is wrong as well. Okay. Why? Because we do not have any say in if there's going to be an outage or not. Okay. There can be a war. Okay. Trump can go bazooka and just kill everybody, right? So, we don't have any say in that. So, technically, the answers are number 2 and number 3. Okay. So, which is correct, but I need you guys to be confident now. Okay. Cool. How is expense? This is very easy. I've told you this multiple times last time. Okay, so I need everyone to get this right. How is expense shifted when moving from traditional servers to the cloud? And anyone who has not watched these lectures from last time, please subscribe to Cloud Labs. That is a paid integration, and you can see my beautiful face once again there. All right. How is the expense shifted? I want answers. This should be in 1 minute. If someone is online and they want to answer as well, you can answer online as well. Yeah.
Number 4.
Bow. Ramesh is dead. We should play Hangman, right? All right.
Number one.
Number one.
Number three.
Come on, guys. Wait, did you say number three as well, right?
I said four. I said four.
Oh wait, you said four. Sorry. Four is right. Four is right. Sorry. All right, number three is wrong. I completely. I need glasses. All right. So what does this mean? Capital expense is traded for variable expense. Essentially, remember when I said you need to stop guessing capacity? All right. When Ramesh bought the servers, he paid $1 million. 1 million. Eh. Yeah, $1 million he paid to buy 1,000 servers, okay? But only 10 people came in, right? So that is something called capital expense, something that you pay for at the start, okay? Which is now traded for variable expense. Variable expense in simple terms is basically saying that you pay as you go, right? You pay for a server as you go. I want to create an EC2 instance. Now I want to create an S3. Now I want to create this and now I want to create that to create my website. That's it, all right? I don't need to guess my capacity. So this question will 110% come in your exam, all right? And you need to say variable expense. In Udemy and courses anywhere else, they will say operational expense, okay, which is technically correct. But remember, it is variable. Even in the operations, there is a variable that actually goes to. So the new model, the 2026 models, makes you say variable expense, all right? So now the next question is, which of the following is one of the benefits of migrating your systems from an on-premises data center to AWS Cloud? Kavya, can you please get me a coffee or something, please? Thank you.
Yes.
Iced coffee, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, brother. Love you. So which one here is the benefit of migrating your systems from an on-premises data center to the AWS Cloud? Oh, very quick. I did not even read it. That is amazing. That is amazing. That's the right answer. Very good. Completely eliminates. Yeah, that is completely right. Can you explain why you said number two?
Because you can use a platform as a service, I don't know, software as a service in AWS.
Mhm.
So you can focus just in the business instead of provisioning infrastructure, provisioning hardware, or maybe like having operational costs
Mhm.
over this infrastructure.
Perfect, perfect. So, what's your name, by the way?
Mila.
Mila. Mila is trying to say is shared responsibility model. So AWS has launched something called the shared responsibility model, which I think okay, that's my music. Shared response. I've fucked the spelling. Yes. AWS, there it is. So this is the thing you don't need to memorize, but essentially it says that AWS manages the hardware, you manage the client-side encryption, and anything that goes in the AWS. Okay. So when Manu and Hassan will actually go today, we will actually have a practical, which I'm very excited about. All right. So when we have the practical, we'll see that something that goes in the AWS is managed by you guys. Okay. So like your identity access management, client-side encryption, server-side encryption, but any hardware. Okay, I won't get you to put this TV into your server, right? AWS does that for you. Okay, you don't need to actually get the heavy lifting of racking and stacking and whatever the things it said. Cool. Coming back to the next. So two more questions, guys. A company is in the process of choosing the most suitable AWS region to migrate its application. Which of the following factors should they consider? Select two. Think again, right? Think between you guys. I want someone different to answer. So remember when I said war and things like that, then I said, yeah, I'm not going to give you answers. Okay. What is war? Consider availability zone security. Mm-mm-mm-mm. So first and second, once again, amazing. All right, good job. So it's not fifth. Who said fifth? You said fifth, completely fine. But unfortunately, we do not need to look at the centralized security monitoring. Okay, it's basically saying all your data centers and everything, I'm not going to get you to stand a security guard there, right? That is AWS's job. They're paying people for that. Let's not take their jobs, okay? So what are we doing? We are enhancing the customer experience by reducing latency. Now, let's suppose I open an application in Australia, but I'm actually deploying it for people in America. Imagine the latency that I'm going to get, right? People are never going to be able to use it properly. Imagine if you're playing a game Among Us, right? You can't play it properly. So you need to actually get the AWS region in America. So there are two regions in America, US East 1A, US East 1B. Okay, and in those regions you have like things like Ohio. I don't know why they created something there, but but they have other regions as well, like Utah and Ohio and New York and things like that. And then support country specific data sovereignty compliance requirements. So essentially what it says here, let's say if I want to open a website which has HealthScribe, AWS HealthScribe. HealthScribe is a service which can write the notes for you when the doctor is speaking. All right. That service is not available in the Middle East actually. Okay. Why is that? Because they don't want a computer to write the doctor's notes. So that is why you cannot deploy your healthcare website in Middle East at this point. Right? So compliance requirements are something you need to be very, very mindful of. And end users to, why would you want visit your on-premise data center? Is this like a field trip? No, right? So that's not something that we take care of. All right, last question. A company used to experience delays in developing new services due to the time it took to procure and set up on-premise service. They recently migrated their infrastructure to the AWS cloud. This change has allowed them to spin up testing environments in just days, accelerating the time to market for their services. Which of the following AWS cloud benefits is showcased in the particular scenario? Yes. Unfortunately not. Number what? 4? Yes, that is correct. Why did you say B? Where do you see here? And I'm sorry, but where do you see global? Right? So that is technically a benefit, right? I can deploy globally in minutes. But here in the question, I do not see global anywhere. Okay? Remember, keywords is the key. Okay, keywords is the key. So as long as it does not say that you need to deploy it in multiple different regions, do not go this. Cost settings, it does not say that. Elasticity, it basically means that bringing more resources as you need. Agility, by the way, right? That is going and accelerating the time to market for their service. This last sentence usually gives you the answer. All right. So read that, and like I said before, apply for the 30 minutes extra by saying that you guys do not know how to speak English. Okay, and all of you guys can read the questions in more depth. Okay, cool. That is questions for me done this time. Now let's go on to, and so now you guys don't need to watch the videos, but please give me some views, okay? Please, please. And now we'll go over to the next one, which is cloud service models, which is your software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, which you were talking about right now, right? You were talking about the two. So what we covered last time, what cloud computing is, traditional challenges, AWS introduction, already done that, already gone over that. Oh, what I did not go over, public, private, and hybrid cloud. And you guys, some of you guys were not here. So I'll quickly go over that as well. So public cloud and private cloud, and hybrid is basically the mixture of both, right? So let's draw this. Public cloud is for people across the internet, right? So if I draw an architecture diagram, it has something called an internet gateway. So I'll just write IG. So it is connected to the public internet. It has all the services in AWS. So whatever we show you right now is public cloud, okay? Private cloud, let's say I work in Combank. That's a banking place, right? I will open a private cloud specifically for Combank because I want to analyze the data in Combank. Now, I don't want to share my data in Combank to someone in NAB, right? They will increase their interest rates if, let's say, you have a mortgage that still needs to be paid or something, right? So anything analysis and anything for personal reasons should be done in public cloud. Any data that is stored is in the private cloud. So data can be stored here, and analysis, because it's cheaper, can be done in the public cloud. Okay, so that is when a hybrid cloud comes into place, right? You use the best of the two worlds. Why? Because private cloud has security, private cloud has, but it has limited infrastructure. It does not have all the services required. Public cloud has all the infrastructure required, but it has very limited security. Got it? Everybody understood that? Perfect. Now, the question we are answering today. When you use cloud computing, you have choices. How much do you want to manage? How much do you want the provider to manage? Who is the provider? That is AWS. So the spectrum is either you have complete control or you have no control whatsoever. Now, there are three models we're actually taking a look at. There's a pizza analogy, which you guys can read yourself. I find that very boring. I'll give you another analogy, right? Okay. So the first pizza analogy, I'll first introduce the pizza analogy. Why pizza? Because it perfectly illustrates what does what. All right, making a pizza from scratch, getting some help, having it all done for you. All right. So we have three models that we have. First, let's go over traditional. Why we need traditional? So let's suppose I am growing a pizza, or I am in a farm. Okay, I need to get a cow. I need to breed a cow. I need to get the milk from the cow. All right. I need to pasteurize that milk from the cow, make the, I'm not sure if you like Indian food, like make the paneer from the cow. All right. So all of that I need to do, right? That is traditional infrastructure. So I am there in the shit of the cow dung, all right, and I'm making everything from the scratch. Now, who likes that? By the way, I am a farmer, right? I come from a farmer family, so hopefully all of you like that. Pizza analogy. Now, infrastructure as a service basically says that, alrighty, you don't need to stay in the cow dung. You can stay in your remote location. You can stay in your AC conditioned room. All you need to do is essentially make the pizza. You have all the ingredients to you. You make the pizza. Someone's late. Perfect. So we need to make the pizza. That is your infrastructure as a service. Now, can someone explain? Can someone give me an example? I gave you this last time as well. What is one service that comes in infrastructure as a service in AWS? Anyone can give me an example.
S3 is storage.
Yes. S3 does come in IaaS. Very different service that I was expecting, but good job. That does come in IaaS. Oh, look at you. Look at you.
Anything else?
From 7-Eleven? That's very cheap of you. Just kidding. Okay. So any other service, guys? One more. One more if anyone can give it. I give a specific example. I'll ask Soham.
Yeah. For infrastructure as a service,
Mm.
we have just EC2s.
Very good, very good. So today's practical is going to be on EC2. All right. It's going to be talking about why EC2 is an infrastructure as a service. So I won't spoil it for you guys. I'll let these lovely gentlemen who have practiced go over that for you. Okay. So once again, I have all the ingredients I need. I'm just cooking and making the dough, assembling the pizza, cooking it, and I'm serving it. That is infrastructure as a service. Now, I'll give you an example of how infrastructure as a service comes in real life. Okay, we're not making pizzas, okay? That's why we have Domino's. Cool. I have a startup, guys, called Nox AI. All right. Nox AI, the startup that is going to make millions of dollars, and I won't be teaching you anymore because I'll be rich as well. Okay, so Nox AI. Okay, so what does Nox AI do? Nox AI is an AI startup company which creates services, and one service that I'm creating is called Nox Care. In Nox Care, because it's a new service, nothing like this has been created, I'm creating a healthcare service from scratch. Okay, I'm using EC2. I'm using S3, I'm using DynamoDB, I'm using Lambdas, I'm using Fargate, and I'm connecting all of those services together and plenty of more services. I just don't want to give you all of my idea. Plenty of all of the other services together to create an architecture which is for a doctor. Okay, it creates an application which can write the notes down. All right, it can create abnormalities from the reports, and we'll create something similar. Okay, we won't create the same application, we'll create something new so that we can all be millionaires together. Okay, so that is called infrastructure as a service. Now, when I sell that service to a company, to a hospital, for them, that becomes something called a software as a service. Now, they don't need to manage it, I'm still managing it. They are just getting that service. If I connect multiple different EC2s together, that becomes platform as a service. I can deploy code on that. I can run some other websites called Beanstalk and things like that, right? That is your platform as a service. So keeping that in mind, let's go ahead to platform as a service. So when you're ordering pizzas, you add the toppings, you pre-make your pizza dough. Your sauce is already on it, base cheese is a layer, they'll cook it for you. You just choose your toppings, right? So if I go to Domino's right now, I just tell them I want peri peri chicken and they will make me peri peri chicken. I just had to tell them that I want peri peri chicken and I want the chicken in it, right? That's it. But they are making everything for me. They have the oven, they have everything. I don't need to actually go there and knead the dough and things like that, right? What is software as a service? I do not do anything. Do you know how Kavya just got me this coffee? All of this was planned, right? I did not need to do anything. I just said I need a coffee. Kavya got me the coffee, and the coffee is on my table. All right. I don't know how this coffee was made. I don't know where he got it from, how much he paid. He probably paid like $2 for it. But all ingredients, makes the pizzas, cooks it, serves it to you. So Kavya for me is my software as a service. He came up to me, got me the coffee, and he served it to me like a good boy. All right. So pizza analogy, side by side comparison. We have traditional service, which is homemade. You have to get your oven and your work is everything. You are providing the work to no one. You control completely, and your effort is maximum. Infrastructure as a services, you go to Coles, you buy the ingredients, you start cooking, you have raw ingredients, you have very high control, and you have very high effort, but it's not maximum effort. You don't have to actually do everything. You don't have to actually plant the vegetables and get it as well. Platform as a service is you already have a pre-made dough. Now you're just putting in the toppings and that's it, right? You have a prepared base, it's medium level control, and your effort is very, very low. Software as a service, you're going to a restaurant, and like I said, you get the coffee and you don't even know how it's actually made. Okay? So, as you can imagine, control is very low. He could have poisoned my coffee for all I know. Also, he is becoming the next cloud captain, so probably yes, he probably want to accelerate the process, agility. All right. Now let's talk about real cloud. The stack. Oh, I did not know this was there. Now let's talk about the real cloud, the stack. All right. So essentially, this is what you're actually looking at. Okay. Whenever you get an exam question, this should be something that comes in your head. All right. So if you have infrastructure as a service, you are managing the application, the data, the operating systems. Virtualization, servers, storage, networking, all of that is managed by what? Your AWS. Whoever Shaq. Platform as a service is applications and data. All right. We only manage that, right? So, like your website, you want to deploy code and things like that. Operating system, virtualization, servers, storage, networking, all managed by AWS. Software as a service, like applications, data, operating system, all of this is managed by AWS. One very classic example is Netflix. All right. You just watch the movies. You do not know how the machine learning algorithm is working. They're using something called SageMaker. So if you guys are interested, go read about SageMaker. How does SageMaker actually work? This is an AWS service. Another example is Gmail or Outlook or things like that. Perfect. Now let's go into depth because it will come in the exam. Infrastructure as a service, IaaS. Provider manages your physical data centers, your servers, your hardware, your networking equipment, storage systems, and virtualization layer. You manage the operating system. So what do I want to choose? I want to choose a Windows server because you are running in a Windows Microsoft DBA, or DBA is database agreement. All right. Runtime environments, Java, Python. What languages do you know how to speak? Middleware, databases, web service, whatever you want to choose, and applications and data, what you want to have, right? All of that is managed by you guys. All right. Nothing goes to the AWS. Example, as you guys said, S3, EC2, VPC, Virtual Private Cloud. Now, let's take a look. EC2 are virtual servers in the cloud, all right? You choose the operating system, you install the applications, you manage everything on the top. So think about it as I am renting a computer and I'm renting that computer to run anything that I want, okay? And for as long as I want. So if I ask you guys, what characteristics in the 5 characteristics is this fulfilling? Can someone give me 2? It's fulfilling 2. EC2. Is it getting hot in this room? Think, guys. I'll bring it up because it's hard to remember everything. Sorry. There you are. So EC2, normal EC2, okay? No savings plan, nothing. Don't overcomplicate it. One of these 5 characteristics is it actually fulfilling?
As you go.
Huh?
As you go.
Pay as you go. Perfect. That is your normal EC2. Fantastic. Anything else?
On demand.
Very good. Yes. There's one more it can do using something called an ALB. I won't give you the full form because I'll leave that for your practical. Think about it. Right. ALB. This guy has a certificate already, so.
It expired actually.
Sorry?
It expired.
Oh, expired? Okay.
How long?
Application load balancer, right? I won't go over what it is, but exactly what it does is rapid elasticity, right? Or ASG app, your scaling group, auto scaling group. Sorry, I was confusing the two. Cool. When to use it? When you want full control, you want to lift and shift migration. Now I want to go from traditional infrastructure to the cloud. That is when I use this. Okay, I want to move to the existing apps and cloud as it is. Testing and deployment. You want to spin up environments very, very quickly. You have high performance computing. Okay, now I want to have memory sorted out. I want to have CPU sorted out. All of that comes in the high performance computing. So think about it this way. I have a server with about million people joining, right? I want a very high memory, I want a very high RAM because a lot of people are going to be using it. So I choose that server, all right? I can choose 2 of those servers, 3 of those servers, as many as I want. That is exactly what infrastructure as a service does. Platform as a service is everything infrastructure as a service has done, right? Infrastructure as a service creates an infrastructure for a platform. Think about it this way. All right. Once again, let me draw that out for you. Infrastructure as a service creates a platform, and that platform is platform as a service. All right. So let's say multiple different EC2s creates something called Beanstalk. Beanstalk is to deploy your websites for coding and testing and things like that. All right. It deploys Beanstalk. So once again, multiple different EC2s, which is infrastructure as a service, is joining together to create one Beanstalk. Beanstalk is what? Your platform as a service. All right. Cool. Let's clear my drawings. Do you guys want a break or you guys are fine? Do you guys want a 5-minute break? No? All good? Perfect. Cool. A lot of people were leaving. Maybe I was getting boring. Examples, as I said, Elastic Beanstalk, RDS, Lambda. All right, I will go more into depth of it when we actually go what these services are. I won't go over it now. I just want to explain these 3 things. So when to use platform as a service? When you want rapid deployment, right? I want to test something out, I will use platform as a service. I want to test code out, I want to test my website, how is it looking? I will use platform as a service. You want to focus on the code, you do not want to manage the infrastructure. That is when I will use platform as a service. You have standardized applications, API development, prototyping. All of this comes under platform as a service. Now, this won't come in your exam, all right? But they will ask you services. So they will say, these 3 services is it a platform as a service, IaaS or SaaS? Okay, so you will recognize this and you will say, okay, I don't know what actually goes under the hood, so I know this is platform as a service. All right, that's how you will actually answer the question. Software as a service, once again, provider, which is AWS, manages everything: infrastructure, platform, and the application itself. It manages the updates, it manages the security, it manages the backup and the scaling. You manage your data, what you put in the application, and user access. Okay, who can use it? So you have login credentials. So you use a service called, you use a service called Cognito. All right, Cognito basically says who can come in, who is authorized to use your application. That's what Cognito actually does. All right, so those are your things that comes in your software as a service. All right, user access, who can access it, settings and configuration, when to use it, all of that things come in your software as a service. Is everybody online as well? Because I can't see you guys. Are you guys happy with everything? Can you guys hear everything? And can you check? How's it? Just write a yes if you guys are fine. You're not fine?
There's nothing.
Oh, okay. SaaS, common examples. AWS Chime, AWS Workmail, AWS WorkDocs. Essentially, Chime is your very, very bad version of Slack. Okay, so it does not really work. In fact, they're actually getting rid of it. Okay, so Workmail and WorkDocs are Google Doc and email. All right, that makes sense. So essentially, you do not know how it works. You're basically leaving it all to AWS or the provider, whoever the provider is. All right, when to use SaaS. Small businesses needs email, file sharing, video calls, Google Workspace, zero infrastructure, zero maintenance, and just productivity. That is when you use SaaS. All right. So once again, if you hear the word zero infrastructure, zero maintenance, just productivity in your exam, that's when you know SaaS. All right. So I'll go over some more exam questions today as well on this. All right, and then we'll get this all solidified after the thing. Okay, I'm gonna get that over with. We're nearly done with the slides, guys. Very good. Pizza analogy, full comparison. So as you move from your infrastructure as a service to software as a service, you manage less. That makes sense, right? Because now you're not managing how to knead the dough. You can just, another example is you're just asking your mom to make the pizza and she serves it to you. If you guys have nice moms, okay? Then platform as a service is just you tell your mom that, mom, I don't want mushrooms on my pizza. That's it. Right? You just need to walk there and say, Mama, I don't want mushrooms on my pizza. Please make sure. Okay? That's it. SaaS, she just makes it for you. You just got to eat it. All right? There's no bullshitting about it. Choosing the right service model. So choose infrastructure as a service. So this is for you guys when you create your own startups. Okay? Choose infrastructure as a service when you want maximum amount of control and customization. You want to migrate from traditional infrastructure to your AWS cloud, and you want complete control about what service you want to be managing. Why is that the case? Let's take a look at why is that the case. So assume this, right? I have an application in the data center. I have a data center, and it is very similar to something called a container. If I move to AWS, I want to use something called EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Services. Kubernetes is another word for your containers as well, or something called ECS, which is Elastic Container Services. Now, if I was in PaaS, which is Platform as a Service, or SaaS, I wouldn't have that choice. The company would already choose that for me. Now I have a choice of what to choose. All right, and that is why you need to use infrastructure as a service whenever you want to choose. Migrating existing applications, that's when you use infrastructure as a service. You choose your platform as a service when you want to focus on the code, not the infrastructure. So you want to rapidly deploy, rapidly test, and you want to rapidly see what went wrong, what went right. And you choose software as a service when you want standard business application. You want zero infrastructure. You basically just tell a company to create something for you and they create it for you. Alrighty, let's get it. All right. So real world multi-model example. Okay. So what we are saying here, when a company uses all three, okay? Now this is where it gets interesting. Now, do not think that you just need to use infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, or software as a service. You can use all three at once. Now, for example, I'll give you my old architecture for Knox. All right. My Knox AI basically said that people will come in, user calls and connects using Amazon Connect. All right. It connects using Amazon Connect, but Connect is not an infrastructure as a service. That is software as a service, guys. All right. Then it connects that call using EC2. Then it using Lambda. Now this is infrastructure as a service. This right here is platform as a service. Am I using one thing? No, I'm using multiple different things together to create my architecture. And this is what an architecture actually looks like, all right? This is when a company actually looks like. And then what happens, right? Now come back to the private and public cloud. Think about that again, all right? I want to analyze my data. I will bring that and transfer all of my, where's my thing? I will transfer all of my data to the public cloud and use something called AWS QuickSight. QuickSight is to analyze your data. It basically uses Hadoop functionality to connect the dots and actually analyze the data. All right, we'll go more into depth about all of this later on, so don't worry about it. And this does not come in your exam, but good to know, right? Now, last slide. Yes. Why does cloud win regardless of the model? Remember this. CapEx to it should be variable expense, all right, not OpEx. Variable expense, remember that, all right? Capital expenditure to operational expenditure or variable expenditure, pay as you go. Speed and agility, deploy in minutes, not months. So remember that, agility. Global reach, worldwide in minutes. Scalability, grow and shrink on demand. Security, enterprise-grade security. Innovation and reliability. Now, those terms are very simple to understand. I don't want to go into depth into that. Any questions that you guys have? No? Yes? Any questions? No? Sure.
I'm curious. So let's say if I want to build microservices and I want to, let's say, scale up my application to add more nodes. And for each node, let's say I want to
Node or
separate
nodes?
the
Did you
nodes
node?
and yes.
Okay, yes, yeah.
So it's to separate it. So each S3 will be dedicated for each of the nodes. Right? So is that do I need to use a certain platform as a service?
No.
Or do I just add more storages to it? So without any PaaS support.
So essentially, I'll answer your questions in chunks. Okay. First of all, you do not need multiple different S3s for multiple different stores nodes. Okay. Why? Because in S3 you can create tables. Okay, and each table is separate. Okay, you do not need to create multiple different S3s. You can create multiple different buckets. Okay, but it all comes under one S3. Now, when I teach you about infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a, that's theoretical. It does not come in real world examples. Okay, you just make your architecture. You do not think about, is this a platform as a service? No. Okay, you just create it. You believe, you see that, okay, now I have this service already created. You can always create a platform as a service like Beanstalk with EC2s and everything. But why would you do that? If I have a pencil, I'm not going to first go to the tree, cut the tree down, get charcoal, and then create the pencil again, right? You just use that pencil, all right? So essentially, Beanstalk, we already just use it. You don't think about it. Anything that you can already have, you already have a service. And that is why, to answer those questions, you have something called a TAM, all right? That's your text access manager. It tells you what services to use, all right? Or you can use ChatGPT, all right? So, which is free. So those are the things that you actually use. Now, to answer your question, excellent question, by the way, right? S3, you do not need multiple different nodes. But let's say you want to run S3 and you have multiple different data sources that cannot consolidate in the same environment. Then you use something called ECS first, Elastic Container Services. Put each S3 into one container, duplicate that container, and then you can put that container into a different environment, into a different region. All right. When I go over containers in S3, this will all become much more clear. But I'll draw it out for you just so you understand. So what I'm saying, you know the service I was just talking about, ECS? Elastic Container Services. All right. What it basically does, it creates containers for you. You all have used Dockers, I'm assuming. Docker, right? I'm sure, but like if you haven't, right, we'll go over what Docker is. Okay. Docker essentially creates your containers for you. Containers are a cheap way of creating something and then you can use it across the world. Okay. So ECS will create an scale up your Dockers as you go. In each Docker, each container, I can have my S3 bucket, I can have my EC2, and I can replicate that same thing into another thing, but let's say this is for US East 1, this is for US East 1B. Okay, so that is what I think that is what you want to trying to get at, right? So you just basically create multiple different environments, multiple different virtual private clouds so that you can run it into multiple different regions. Okay, and you can just use snapshots so that you don't have to copy everything in. Becomes easy after a while. Cool. Any other questions? Very good question, by the way. Any other questions, guys? Any? Sorry?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, cool. I'll leave it up to you guys now. So I'll leave you to the practical. Then think about all of these questions because I will come again in about 40 minutes and I will ask you the questions so that you can leave. That is your exit pass essentially, right? So you can't leave without it. Do you guys want to hustle?
Yeah,
You want to bring your laptop? I'll stop screen sharing.
guys, take a quick break.
Yeah, please take a break. Sorry, guys. I just blabbered my way.
Yeah, stop this.
Thank you, guys. Anybody, if you have any questions, please do ask. I'm just going to take a quick break. I'll be back. Nicholas and Alvin. So is it script ready? Yeah. No. I hear my own voice. Yeah, exactly. That's low. No, okay. The EC2 script, it's over here. So is it in download? If you click on choose files, it'll open it up automatically. And you just gotta click on EC2 data. Okay. Or just be it. Just in case. I'll be here. We should wait for them to be back. Yeah, that's right. That's a good idea. I'm shooting. What? No, is it? Don't flushing with the face. We'll wait like 5 more minutes. Yeah. Start at 6:50. Yeah.
That's 6.
Can you find stuff?
Slides.
Oh,
Drive.
yeah, there's a drive link. I'll just forward it.
Link tree.
Yeah, link tree. Yeah, you can put the drive on link tree. It sounds like a speaker. What is? Yeah, it sounds like a speaker. Reduce the volume, like mute it or something. It's not that. It is.
It can't be from that, bro. How can I speaker, please? Someone flash.
That's something else. Anyway, that's fine.
It's too much.
Guys, we'll start at 6:15. Okay. Make sure you have your AWS accounts ready. Follow the tutorial. In the meantime, did you guys have any problems setting up your AWS accounts? Oh, just go help them out. Yeah.
I already used like but it's all from
Is this? Oh, it's
yeah, my husband got is only for Congress and after that I will be charged.
Oh, okay.
Don't work on that when you start using like make sure that but if you don't use this service that costs a lot for you won't be charged and so you can delete or multi instances you make. Okay. Yeah, but let's say I choose the free one. And I would say during the free plan I use like use something that it should be not
Mhm.
Oh, I see. Is your card Visa? Yeah, the thing is, sometimes international cards don't work in Australia. The problem with AWS, so if you whatever you use your card, right? So like they will charge a dollar just to verify the card is correct and then refund it. So that's totally fine. And when you have doing tutorials, you select a reset and everything. So that means whatever things you initiate, we will reset everything and we won't get charged, but we are reset. That's what yeah, it's
Thank you.
is there any sockets?
This one here. Check if there's anything behind you. Nothing. Oh, there's one down there. Yep. Just behind. Yeah. Oh, no, just one more minute. We're getting set up. What files?
The ones we have to put to create the instance.
Oh, it's on the link tree, right?
Yeah. Expanding the greeting.
Okay, guys, let's get started. Okay. So first of all, you should have made your AWS account already. If you have not, please watch the YouTube video that we posted on our channel. So once that's done, we have to log in into our IAM user. So not the root user. The reason why we don't log into the root user because it's a bad security practice. So there's not many restrictions on the root account. So you could accidentally delete your account or just to be safe, you must create an IAM user and then log into it. So I'll just quickly show you how to do that. So first of all, search up IAM. once you're in IAM, you should see this dashboard. So click on IAM users. And as you can see, I already have a few users created right here. So I'll quickly demonstrate how to create a new one. So demo AWS 2, you can name it anything you want. And please tick this option where it says provide user access to the console. And once that's done, you can tick this box right here if you want to create a new password. So this is basically sort of like if you have employees within your company and you want to make IAM users for them, you can enable that option. So I'm just going to use auto-generated password. Click next. Now here we have to add the user to a group. Now groups have policies attached to them. So whatever users we add to the groups, they inherit those inherit those what do you call it? Those roles. Okay, so I'm just gonna create a new group here as well. So demo group 2. And now we have to attach policies that our users will receive under this group. So you can click on admin access right here and create user group. So once that's done, we can attach this user to the AWS demo group too. So once we've done that, review and create.
Sorry, which one do we pick for when we create user?
Sorry, which one on which step?
The previous right example.
In permissions?
Yeah.
So the admin access policy. Is anyone else having issues with that? All good? The admin policy.
Okay. Found it.
Cool. All right, so once we've created the user, you'll see all of your credentials right here. Now make sure to save these in a secure spot. It's very easy to lose them. So also alongside this, store your AWS account number, which is that right here. Or you can alternatively see that right here as well, 890, starting with 890. So once that's done, you can return to the users list. I'm just going to continue. And we can see our new user here, demo AWS 2. So once you've done that, make sure that you log out of your, let's say this is my root account, okay? I'm going to sign out, and using the credentials that we have before, using the IAM user credentials, you log back in using those credentials so that we're working under the IAM user and not the root user, okay? So once that's all done, we can log back in as an IAM user and see this console homepage. Now I'm going to start demonstrating on how to use the EC2 service. Now I'm going to just throw a quick question here. So why can't we use a local host to sort of put our application on the internet? Or if, let's say, my friend wants to use my application, why can't I locally host it? What's the issue? Does anyone want to take a guess?
Because it's not shared.
Ex-
Local means local.
Yep, exactly. So the whole point of having an EC2 server is we want to delegate the responsibility of running our code to AWS. So that's where EC2 comes into play. So EC2 is a server renting. So we're renting a server that can run the code on behalf of our laptop. And also so that our friends or anyone can access our application that's being hosted online. So you can here click on EC2. You can search up EC2 on your console. And once we open that, just click on launch instance. And I'm going to launch it without a walkthrough. You can have a walkthrough if you want. So this is where we set up all of our configurations for the EC2 instance. Now I'm just going to quickly set this up, show you how to do it. So I'm just going to create a demo EC2 instance. You can name it anything you want. And here is where we get to the AMI's part. So AMI means Amazon Machine Image. Amazon Machine Image is sort of like a template for all your EC2 instances. So if you've done coding or if you've coded in Java before, you might have heard of classes and objects. So classes are like templates for your objects. So using the template, you can create multiple objects that have the same configuration. So in this case, for our EC2 instance, we can choose the underlying OS of our EC2 instance, right? For example, if I was locally hosting it, let's say on this MacBook, since this is Mac OS, I'm running the server on Mac OS. Now, see, in a similar fashion, when setting up our EC2 instance, we have to specify, okay, what underlying OS are we using? Now, even with the AMIs, you can choose any AMI you want. Example, let's say someone created doors instead of windows. Okay, so you can browse for more AMIs and sort of choose those to be your underlying OS for your EC2 instance. Okay, so once that's done, you can leave it as Amazon Linux since it comes under the free tier. So I'm going to leave everything as default, not touching anything. And here's where we come to the instance type. Now, the instance type basically helps us specify, well, how big is our EC2 instance or how powerful it is, and the compute capacity for our EC2 instance. Now, I'm going to ask you guys a quick question here. What sort of scaling does this have? So what type of scaling is it if I choose a bigger instance over here? So we did this in our very first workshop. Agam discussed the two types of scaling we had. So does anyone want to help identify what type of scaling this is if I pick a higher or a bigger instance? Take a guess, anyone? Exactly. So what do you think, what type of scaling this is if we choose a bigger instance over here? Exactly, vertical scaling, right? Because we only have one instance here and we're increasing the size of the instance, right? We're not making more instances. We're just having our existing instance and increasing the size of it. So for now, I'm going to leave it as T2 micro, which is free tier eligible. So I'm not touching anything, leaving it as standard. Now here comes the key pair logins. Now key pairs are used to connect to our EC2 instance via the SSH protocol, secure shell protocol, right? To connect to our EC2 instance, we need a key pair. So the public and the private keys. If you've done cryptography before, this should be familiar, but that's fine. We'll create a new key pair so that Hasid can show us how to connect to it using the secure shell protocol. Okay, so I'm going to click on create new key pair here. Demo EC2 key pair. You can name it anything you want. And I'm going to choose RSA. This is our asymmetric encryption. So we have a public and a private key to make sure that all the traffic that goes from the client to the EC2 is encrypted and secure. So now if you're using Windows 7 or 8, you can pick .ppk, otherwise .pem for standard. Okay, and create the key pair and you can save it. And that should be saved in your downloads. Once that's done, we can move on to the network settings. Now with the network settings, what we can do here is create a security group. Now a security group is sort of like a cover for your EC2 instance, right? So it allows you to sort of control what traffic can go into our EC2 instance and what goes out of our EC2 instance, right? So with this, we can choose, okay, which ports are we allowing inbound traffic to, and what outgoing ports do we have open, and what IP addresses can we allow into IC2 instance. So here, since Hasit is going to show us how to connect to SSH, I'm going to leave it standard and allow traffic from anywhere. So here, all zeros means you can allow traffic from anywhere, basically. Now, this is not that secure, but if you're, let's say, working for a company, you can restrict this to certain IP addresses to help enhance your security. Now, I'll also show you how to connect it using the HTTP protocol. So for that, we need to tick this option right here, allow HTTP traffic from the internet. So once that's done, we can set up storage for our EC2 instance. Now, storage usually comes in the form of EBS. EBS means Elastic Block Store. So what we can do is we can attach EBS volumes. So EBS volumes are independent by themselves, which we can attach to our instance. So by default, we have the root volume that's attached to our EC2 instance. Now be careful, this root volume will be deleted upon termination. So whatever you add in there, make sure that it's temporary and only used for the EC2 setup. So I'm not going to add any volumes right now. We'll explore it in the later workshops. But for now, we'll leave it with the root volume. Now we can also attach different file systems such as S3, EFS, and FSX, which we'll also explore in the later workshops. Now, just click on advanced details and you can just skip through all of this. You don't need to set up any of this. I'm going to scroll all the way down and here you should see a section called user data. Now, this section is where we can put some code in there so that when our EC2 instance is launching, it can execute that code and initialize the instance. Okay. For this, we have uploaded the code onto Google Drive. So if you can check out the link in Instagram, right?
Yeah, it's on the link tree. So if you guys go to
Yep. So it should be in our Google Drive thing. And then, so I'm going to choose a file right now. I already have it here. Which one is this? Which one? Did we not choose one? Yes, I did. It's in documents. Sorry. No, it's all good. We can open it. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll just give you guys 2 minutes to load that code up. Yeah.
I think it's currently like super difficult to follow.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'll go very slow. Okay. I'll go slow from now on.
There are so many like abbreviations.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
With the
Just make sure everyone has the code for it. Guys, if you're having trouble, please ask any one of our team, okay?
So you can build this fund for it. It's just a row in this data fragments. So no, it looks like you might. The reason you do that is because this is already in you. Because I'm not able to say that work with that prevent certain mistake. We are that's not allowing to log it to the root one the one you from that but now it's okay. But we're going to log in log out. Oh, okay. So we don't have it, yeah, it's yeah. If you want, yeah, so you can actually just cancel this like one second.
Sorry? LAMP script? Yes, I think that's another name for it. Here, you just call it the user data script. Yeah. But you don't need to like memorize all of this. It's just commands to set up the server.
Yeah, so you create a document, right? Now, if you have to take a screenshot of the password. What about the password? Okay, that's fine. So it's 626. So basically, you're saying, just an Amazon. That's this, yeah, that's copy. That is easy. And we are trying to use that. Oh, okay. So when we went into IaaS, there was a create user option, right? So when you created the user, you should receive the credentials. I'm not sure. So we have your user kind of credentials. Just added the user type so the console symbol. So just sign it user your account. And you open the console of it, right? Yeah. Yes. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So you should have yes. This is just login. Okay, so perfect. Then also we have okay, perfect. So here now you logged in under your root account. Root account, exactly. So the root account is you not right? So in order to make it more simple, what we will do is you create an IAM user. Yes, yes, but if you don't IAM, yeah, yeah. This as it is, I use it, yeah, exactly. And just create a new user so we can it's already created.
But I didn't ask about
the password. Okay, that's how you can create someone. That's right. Anything in yeah, and then just take this option because we want to. Yeah, and then you can send your customer whatever it is. Yeah. So once that's done, that will be what that's done. Yeah, and then you cannot take that. You have to take thanks. And I use it. Yeah, so that's it. Wait, once to go ahead. Oh, we have December. You go back. Create a group. Yeah, create a group. And now you have to attach the admin policy. The admin policy is right there. Administrator answers. We have to click on this one. Yeah. And then just create a user. It's the second one.
second one.
Yeah, I just this is great.
Sorry.
And the name is going through. Sorry, where's this number? You can just name it admin. And then actually perfect. So now we'll say any user we can we'll have that one so that you have the active exactly active access. So now what you can do is pay on that. So this checkbox. Yeah, checkbox. The image tab right here. Yeah, and you have to click on that and then put the next. Yes, so we basically added that user under this. That's what it's great user. So basically it depends on what we do with it. Yeah, perfect. Now these are your credentials. Make sure you save them. Okay. Yeah, so once you can save all of this, and once you save them, you log out. You log out, and then log in and log back using those statistics. Yeah, whatever you say, exactly.
Use the email.
Yeah, don't use the same email. Unless you are deleting your account. You can log out of the yeah. Sign in again. Now instead of user, you can buy the so hyper. Exactly. How using your attention
Already,
yes, exactly. The number he just follows along with create the EC2. You already are exactly. Now we can start playing I'll just
It's 47. Yeah, yeah. All right, guys, I'll quickly show you how to configure the EC2 once again. Okay. Sorry, I was going too fast. Just let me know if I'm going too fast. Okay. You can stop me on the spot.
Zoom in as well. Control plus. Is this relevant? Is this relevant?
No, that's not
Yeah,
relevant.
so just like zoom in so I can see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bro, it's not zooming out. Bro, it's very hard to do that. It's fine. It should be fine now. Should be.
Yes.
No. Okay, guys, so I'll just review the steps that I took to create the EC2 instance. So first of all, I clicked on the AMI that we needed. Now, the underlying OS that we wanted was the Amazon Linux. We can choose Mac OS or Windows or whatever according to your requirements. So once we've chosen that, again, we were choosing the instance type. So that's the size of the instance, how much power we want our instance to have, sort of based on how much code we're running or how much compute power we need based on our requirements. Okay, and this is sort of where vertical scaling happens, as you guys said. And we also created the key pair. Okay, so if you haven't followed along, it's just you click on create new key pair and then just create key pair by selecting RSA and the .pem file format. Okay. So do you guys have any questions before I continue? No? Nothing? Perfect. Now, next, with the network settings, we have to create a security group, which basically allows us to allow traffic from certain IP addresses or allow traffic outside from our EC2 instance to other places. So you can control all of the inbound and outbound traffic at the same time. Now, since we're going to do the tutorial on connecting to the EC2 instance later on, I've checked this box where it says allow SSH traffic from anywhere and also allow HTTP traffic, since I'm going to show you how to connect it via HTTP. Now, next, we also had a look at how to connect storage to our EC2 instances using EBS, which is called the Elastic Block Store. Now, for now, I'm not going to add any volumes, but we still have the root volume that's attached to our EC2 instance. We always need a root volume because you need to store all of, the AMI that we created before. That's all stored in our EBS. And once that's all done, we also had to paste the user script in here to launch our EC2 instance. Yes, yes, yes.
Brief explanation about the script. I think it's
Oh, yeah, exactly. So the script is basically used to start our EC2 instance. So basically all the, what do you call it? The skeleton code, you could call it, for our EC2 instance. So here I just, so these commands are basically, I think, Linux commands, where they used to set up the HTTP server, since we're going to access it via HTTP, and also a simple echo, some simple print command, which we're going to see later on. Okay. Now, next, once all that's done, you can see all of the configuration summary here, and we can just click on launch an instance. So once that's done, you can go to instances, that button right there, and see that our instance is in the pending state. It's being created right there. So it's going to take a few seconds to initialize. And yeah, see, it's gone to running now. Finally, no technical issues today. But does anyone have any questions so far?
One question, why didn't you mark the HTTPS?
Now, very good question. Why I didn't mark the HTTPS is because for that, we need to set up a TLS certificate. Now, that's actually a bit too complex for this tutorial. For now, we'll just be connecting via HTTP. Okay?
What is TLS?
TLS certificate, transport layer security. So once we attach the TLS certificate to our instance, it becomes, you can basically access it via HTTPS. Okay? Very good question. Thank you. Now, I will also create a template based on this instance so that later on we can create an auto-scaling group, which Soham will explain. Okay, so a template is basically, what do you call it? Like, let's say a blueprint for your EC2 instance, so that if you want to create more EC2 instances, you can just specify, okay, I want that template, and all of the EC2 instances that I want created should be exact copies of that template. Okay, now to do that, I will select this EC2 instance that we created and click on Actions, Images and Templates. I'm going a bit slow now, okay? Images and Templates. And create template from instance. Okay?
You basically went from 1.25 straight to 1.
Okay, now you can just name the template anything that you want. A demo launch template. And you can leave everything as is. You don't need to change anything. Since we are referring to the EC2 instance that we already created, all of the configurations have been copied out here. So I'm not changing anything, as you can see. And you can still see we have the script right there. So once all that's done, you can create the launch template. Okay, so now once we've successfully created that, you can go under launch templates right here. And you should see your launch template right there being created. Okay, does anyone have any issues or questions? Please ask them.
Azad, can you just check if everybody is following? Soham, check on that side if everyone's following.
Yes. Yeah, no worries.
You can choose one. Okay. Something like how we will be
So guys, if we're all good with that, we'll move on to the next part, which is connecting to our EC2 instance and creating a load balancer, which Hasit will take over. Thank you so much.
Right, guys. Thank you, Manu. So, as you guys know, as Manu told you, this is a laptop. It's basically your laptop, but hosted on the cloud. So we need a way to actually connect to this laptop that's hosted on the cloud. Now, there's two ways of doing this, two main ways rather, which we'll cover in this tutorial. But there's, so if I go to just instances here, so this is the instance that we just created. Now, you guys can see this connect button over here. So what you guys can do is just click on that instance and click on connect. Now you will be greeted with this screen. Now, There are multiple different ways to connect to an EC2 instance, but the two most common ways are EC2 Instance Connect and an SSH client. Now, you guys might have heard of what SSH is. SSH is basically a protocol that you would use to connect to remote servers like EC2 instances like this. But the only caveat with SSH is you don't actually connect to the GUI of the server or laptop that's hosted on the cloud. You connect to the terminal of that EC2 instance. So that's one way of connecting it. And the way you would do that is, now all the instructions are given here, but I will go through how to do it step by step. Now, remember we downloaded a key pair before in the EC2 instance? We created a key pair and then we downloaded it onto, so I have it in downloads right now. But
Remember, always keep your key pair secure.
yeah,
Okay, that is very, very important. Do not delete it. It's like your GitHub recovery codes and things like that. So
Yeah.
very, very important.
and never publish it in a repository. So keep it private only
You
on
can
your.
put it on GPT. That's it.
All right, so yeah. Now, if you guys are on, I'm assuming most of you guys are on MacBooks, right? Okay, so so if you're on a Mac, you would need to do this extra step. Yeah, so just open a terminal. So I'm just gonna open a terminal right here. Right here, okay. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is, are you guys comfortable with using the terminal commands like CD and stuff? If that's okay, it should be. It's just a simple command. Basically, you have to go to wherever you downloaded your key to. So I did it in downloads. So I'll just say CD downloads. That's cool.
It should be in your downloads folder by default. So
Yeah.
So
I'm just gonna give you guys a few seconds to.
You're recording me.
Yeah.
Just go here. 1 second. Recording.
What? Wait, is this recording?
That's screen sharing.
It's fine.
I'll
do it.
specify the path of the but they're always correct. For this secure shell. Yeah. It's basically a protocol you use to connect to the remote string.
Yeah. All of them are fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We should ignore.
All right. Okay. So I'm assuming all of you might have gone to the folder that your key is in. Now what I want you guys to type out is this command right here. So you can, if you want, you can just copy and paste this exact thing. But I'm just gonna paste it here and just press enter. So did anyone get an error when you did that? No? Okay.
He's going to show
Anyone?
you how to connect it via Windows as well. This is just
So-
for Mac.
Yeah.
now.
Windows, it's a bit different for Windows, so we'll be showing that separately. But this is how you do it in Mac. But yeah, so just to go through what I exactly did here. Now, by default, the key pair file, it's read and write access. So you can literally just go in and write your own key if you wanted to. AWS doesn't like that. AWS wants your key pair to be private. as in you should only be able to read from that key file. So chmod 400, what that is it converts this file into read only. It converts it to read only because then no one can access it. Well, you can access it, but you can't edit it. You can't change anything about it. And that's what AWS wants to connect to their servers. So this is a pretty crucial step if you want to connect. Otherwise, you get a bunch of errors. Now then, you guys can copy this command down here, this ssh.i, and paste it on your terminal. All good? And press enter. And you'll be greeted with this. You can type yes. And that's it. So now you're connected to the EC2 instance. Are you guys all in the screen? All good? Just give you guys a few minutes for that.
Which is the downloads and then I started to run the man, but I sounds like it's
Awesome. All right. Okay. So I'm assuming you guys might have seen the screen now. Now so this is like a brand new EC2 instance. So there's nothing in it. So if I type ls is a command to just see what files are in the actual computer. Now, as you guys can see, there's nothing in it. That's why it's returning nothing. So this is a brand new instance. What you can do with this now is you can upload files, upload any apps, run any Docker containers that you have running on the EC2 instance. And basically, you are in control of the EC2 instance now. You're basically controlling AWS's service. Obviously with restrictions, they don't want you accessing anything. But yeah, that's one way of accessing an EC2 instance. Now, another way is EC2 Instance Connect. Now, the neat thing with EC Instance Connect is that you don't need to worry about any of that SSH stuff that we just did. So if you guys didn't get that set up, there is another way of doing it. It's Instance Connect. What you do in Instance Connect is just leave everything, just click on Instance Connect here, leave everything as default, don't change any of this, and just click on Connect. It'll open a new tab and do the exact same process, but on your web browser. So yeah, it's literally the same thing, but a terminal on your web browser that lets you connect to it. All good? So yeah, you can use whatever is easier for you guys. This Instance Connect is definitely easier to connect with, but if you guys prefer using the local terminal, you can do it the other way I told you about. But yeah, those are
Just the HTTP.
yeah, okay. So that's how you connect with SSH. Now, we can also connect to it with HTTP. Now, the difference between connecting it with SSH and HTTP is that with SSH, you're directly accessing the computer's terminal. You're directly accessing the storage of the computer. But with HTTP, you're accessing whatever content that the computer produces. So basically, remember when Manu was editing was making the instance, we copied a bunch of code with like some HTML code at the end with the user data, right? So that's actually code that displays something on the website that we want hosted. So if you copy this address, public IPv4, after selecting the instance over here, and open a new tab, and just make sure you type this. Just type http.s / and then just paste it in there. Sorry.
The IP, the public IP.
The public IP address we just
Yeah,
copied.
sure,
This one.
Public IP. So yeah, should be under configurations tab.
Yeah. It should be on the details.
The details tab. Yeah.
So just click on your EC2 instance, click on details, and then copy this address here. And then open a new tab, type in HTTP, not S, and then paste that address. And if you press enter, oh, that is not supposed to happen. Never mind.
It should be,
My bad. There we go. We'll just wait until this loads, and there we go.
you can see how it looks.
So we are up and running. So this is the code you just put in user data, basically. Hello world, and then the private IP address of the instance you just created. So this is literally saying that this is my IP address on AWS servers. Pretty much. All right. So yeah, that's about it for the connection stuff. So you have two ways of connecting. You have SSH and then you have Instance Connect. Those two are pretty similar, meaning that Instance Connect is just the easier way of using SSH. You just don't have to worry about any of the key management stuff. AWS handles all of that by themselves. So, and then another way is using HTTP. Now, HTTP, you use it to access the content that the EC2 instance produces, like the hello world thing that we just did here. Awesome. Okay, so that's all for connection stuff. Now I'm gonna go over also you guys have any questions about that? Or everything good? Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna go over something called load balancing. So load balancing is from the name itself. I'll just pull up an image here real quick. So this is what a load balancer architecture would look like. Yeah. So as you guys can see, we have a load balancer service running over here, and then we have a bunch of, in this notation, it's an EC2 instance, but this could be any service. It could be like Lambda or S3 or pretty much anything. And what a load balancer's job is to balance the load to all the other services that are running on the other side. It's pretty self-explanatory by the name, but basically what happens is when a bunch of users send requests, this load balancer sits in the middle and sends those requests to equally to these instances that are running over here, so that one instance is not hogged up with a bunch of requests and basically renders it useless. So it's just a better way of improving user experience on the app side because it doesn't hog up one service with a bunch of requests. Now the way you set this up, did you guys understand that by the way? Or any questions? No? Perfect. Okay. So yeah, that's what a load balancer is. Now the way you set up a load balancer. Okay, so before we start with the load balancer setup, we need to have more than one EC2 instance because having one instance and one load balancer is basically the same as having no load balancer. It's always directing it to one EC2 instance. So I'm just going to create another EC2 instance using the template that Manu created before. So I'm just going to get you guys to go over here to this, click on this arrow and click on launch instance from template. Yeah. And then if you click on this drop down, you might see, you should be able to see the template that you just created before. Click on that. And this will give you a summary of what the template is actually doing. It's basically all this, the same stuff we did with the when we created the EC2 instance, storage and all that. If you go to advanced details, it'll also copy the code in the instance. And you can also set the number of instances you want to create. We'll just create one for now. But yeah, click on launch instance, and that should launch another EC2 instance, which should be up and running any second now. Just click on refresh if it's not. And yeah, there we go. So it's pending. We'll just wait until this starts running. It should be in a bit. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Awesome. Okay. So both instances are running. Now we can get started on creating a load balancer. So the basic architecture that we're trying to create in this case is the same thing here, but just with two EC2 instances. So you will have a load balancer connected to two EC2 instances, which will be balancing the traffic to those two. Now, I'm going to get you guys to go to load balancers here. If you guys can see this thing here. And you should be able to see this screen. I'm going to click on create load balancer. Okay, so here's where it gets a bit detailed. There's three types of load balancers: an application load balancer, a network load balancer, and a gateway load balancer. Now, all three of these they have separate use cases. Let me just zoom in on application. This is what we're going to be creating for today. What this does is, so this is a user, and these are the services on the other end of the load balancer. Now these don't have to be EC2 instances; they can be any service. That's why there's Lambda and there's whatever that is. I'm not sure, but like EC2 instance here. But the unique thing about an application load balancer is it uses HTTP. Now, if you guys haven't heard of the OSI model, it's like a network model which with a bunch of layers that can model any network. And ALB sits in layer 7. You don't need to know this for the exam, but it sits in something called layer 7, which is the application layer, and that has HTTPS and HTTP. What this does is, when a user sends a request to this load balancer, it'll check that request and see what it requires. Once it knows what that request wants back, it'll send it to that particular service. Let's say you want a particular page from a website, you would direct that traffic into EC2. If you want to run a function, you would direct that traffic into Lambda. So this load balance is pretty smart. It'll look at the request, it'll look at HTTP, the header, and it'll direct that traffic to whatever content the request needs. Now, a network load balancer doesn't care about any of that. The network load balancer's primary objective is to direct traffic as fast as possible. So network load balancers, the user sends a request to over here, and it uses TCP, UDP, and TLS to direct traffic to wherever it wants to go. There's no return. Well, there is a return, but it doesn't really care about the location that much, because in a network load balancer, you would ideally use it with things like gaming servers, where you want very low latency. So network load balancers are used for very high performance networks that prioritize speed over accuracy. Because if your packets get lost, you can just send it back. So you don't have to worry about accuracy all that much in a network load balancer. But the main thing is speed. Now, a gateway load balancer, this is a bit different. The use cases are a bit different compared to the other two. Now, in the other two, we had the load balancers connected to services, but in a gateway load balancer, you have the load balancer connected to security services. So this is basically used for security tasks. Let's say you have a bunch of EC2 instances here, a bunch of firewalls. There's something called a WAF, where you guys will learn that later. It's also a firewall, which you'll be running over here. Now, this gateway load balancer, it balances the load to these security tasks. It doesn't balance the load to the application. It's just a security feature where if you're running things like intrusion detection, you would use a gateway load balancer, because it's not like your security services can also get hogged up with a lot of requests. It's not just your application. So you would use a gateway load balancer in that case. So you guys have any questions in any of the three?
Guys, all of this will be recorded, okay? So
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about it.
all of it is recorded.
Yeah. All good?
That's
Okay.
very complicated teacher, but he's amazing. If you understand it,
Bro. Okay, so for now, we'll be creating a application load balancer. So I'm just going to get you guys to click on create. And you can just give it any name. I'm just going to call it a demo LB for load balancer. Yeah, so you guys don't have to worry about any of this. Sorry, you have a question? Oh, okay, no. Application load balancer, yeah. So just click on create and you get to this screen and just put any name you want. I just put demo load balancer here. Yeah. So you don't have to worry about any of this. Keep all of this default, network mapping, all of that default. It's gonna, yeah. Now here, so this is where we want to change some stuff. We want to deploy this load balancer in all 3 availability zones. Now, what an availability zone is, it's basically a sub-region. You could consider it as a sub-region. Now, if you guys check here, I'm currently in the, why is this not working?
Guys,
I'm
so
in Sydney right now.
essentially, every region, imagine you're in Sydney region, you will have 3 availability zones. Minimum, you need 3 availability zones. Okay. So if one fails, after 100 kilometers, there's a second availability zone. All right. So that is something that you need to know. Another exam question, minimum 3 availability zones.
Yeah. So if you guys can see, sorry.
Yes, redundancy, failure, and failure recovery.
It's sorted as here the nearest.
Yes.
So yes, so you want to be choose in availability zone, you want to be putting it into the multiple different. Sorry. AP Southeast, so that's Asia Pacific. Yes.
That's in Sydney. The data center is in Sydney. That's a code.
And you have 2A, 2B, 2C. Basically, each of these is an availability zone. Now, yeah, so we created that. Now we want to also attach a security group. Now, remember we created a security group before. So I'm guessing you guys have something like this under the dropdown as well, launch wizard 1. Yeah, so just click on that and unclick the default thing. So just unselect that and just select launch wizard 1. And that's all we need for that. And yeah, over here. So now we want to attach the EC2 instances that we created before into our load balancer. So the thing is, we don't just go to the EC2 instance and we don't pick individually what instance we want to attach to the load balancer. We create something called a target group, which is basically a group of EC2 instances that we attach as one unit to the load balancer. So the way we do that is, I'm just going to get you guys to click create target group. It's just a AWS thing. So you can't individually go and attach an EC2 instance to a load balancer. You have to create a group, a target group, and that target group gets attached as one unit to the load balancer. Yeah, so if you click create target group, you should be seeing a screen like this. And click on instances over here in target type. And you can, again, give it any name you want. I'm just going to call it demo target group. Awesome. We'll leave all of this as default, HTTP, port 80, IPv4. And if this isn't selected, click on HTTP 1. And yeah, all of this will keep it as default. Again, yeah, that's all we need to do for now. And yeah, click on next. And you should be able to see a screen like this. Yeah, so these are just the EC2 instances that we just created before. This is where we attach the instances to the target group. So I'm just going to select both of them and click on include as pending. That should put the two EC2 instances in here in the pending box, you could say. And I'm going to click next. And yeah, this is just a summary of what you're going to be creating. So you're going to be creating a target group with these two EC2 instances that we created before in AP Southeast 2A. So these instances are located in the 2A availability zone in the Sydney servers. Is basically what that's saying. So I'm just going to create it. Okay, so just created the target group. I'm just going to give you guys a few seconds to get that done as well. You should be seeing this. Anyone have any questions? No? Okay. All good. All right. So now that we created the target group, we want to attach that target group into the load balancer. So we'll go back to this other tab with the load balancer setup, and we'll refresh this. Just click on this refresh button over here next to it, and then you should see demo TG or whatever you guys created over here. And that's how we're going to attach the EC2 instances to the load balancer. And yeah, we'll keep all of this default. There's nothing, you don't need to change any of this. Just gives a summary of what we're doing, and we'll just click on create. Okay, so yeah, that should be it. Yeah, that is it. So it says status provisioning. So it's basically starting up the load balancer right now. This might take about roughly 30 seconds. So we'll just see if it comes up. All right. Do you guys have any problems with the setup so far until this loads?
So this is change here or make policy as it is by default. Yeah. Yeah, add those both instances. Yeah.
Faster? Okay.
How much is that?
Just a bit. I just need to test the load balancer. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Cool, that's
Yeah.
great.
I mean, you have auto scale,
Yeah.
but that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Up to you. I-
Exam question.
Yeah, I have to do a reset thing as well, so they don't get charged. Like delete everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. that-
So I'll just no auto scaling or
we'll do it.
okay.
First I'll ask. I'll ask.
Yeah.
All the
My hair's fine.
Not
Not folding. Good job, Asim.
You know?
A little bit. Oh, I have so much information overload in one workshop, I think.
Okay,
When I do it right, I just go EC2, that's all.
that's it.
I go depth in it.
Okay. Can we put auto scaling next time? Yeah, we're just waiting for this to provision. We have to provision this, that's why. It's still provisioning. Yeah. Okay.
Very good.
All right. So thank you. All right. So the load balancer got provisioned, and you guys might not have this yet. It takes some time to set up the load balancer, but it should display active here. But yeah. Now to test if this works, now we have to test if this load balancer actually works. Now here's what we're gonna do. If you click on this load balancer, just click on this check mark, you would see something like DNS name down here. Do you guys see that? If you click on it. Yeah, so I'm just gonna just copy that DNS name and paste it on a new tab. So just paste it here. Okay, so you should see the same thing that we saw before. But the unique thing with this is if I refresh this, keep refreshing it, it actually switches. You can see if the IP address switches. Now, the reason that switches, can I get someone to explain why that switches like that? If anyone has a answer to that, like
anyone take a guess? Yeah.
exactly. So
Exactly.
exactly. So we just created two of these instances, and it's just switching between the two. Right now, there's basically no load, so it's going 50-50, so it's alternating. But yeah, that's basically what a load balancer is. It switches between the two EC2 instances based off of the traffic. And yeah, now a load balancer is actually pretty smart. The thing with a load balancer is, let's just say, for some reason, maybe a natural disaster, one of the EC2 instances got destroyed, got demolished, it's gone. So to simulate that, I'm just going to stop it. Yeah, so now this instance has stopped. Now, if I go back to the load balancer over here, go to resource map and refresh this.
Take a few seconds.
Might take a few seconds, but yeah, just. Ooh.
Five instances, yeah. So reload.
Stop.
Yeah,
Okay.
stop.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, so one of the EC2 instances just got unused. So now what happens is, if I go back to this website here and I refresh, it's just gonna stick with one IP address because the other one's dead. It's not gonna balance it to the other EC2 instance. It's just one IP address. So yeah, that's basically how a load balancer works. Agam, are we doing auto scaling or?
Okay. So guys, I know this has been a very, very long workshop, practical. So you have two options. I can ask the questions, the exam questions. There are 4 exam questions, or we can get a wonderful Soham to explain the auto scaling group. What would you like?
And then the question comes later.
I mean, if you're happy to do it, I'm happy to stay back and to do the questions, but it's up to you. The questions are exam questions. So either we can push the auto scaling group for next week. So it's going to take 10 minutes, auto scaling group, and then I'll do the question, which is going to take another 10 minutes. So either you can just do the questions or you can do both of it.
Who wants questions?
Who wants just questions? Okay. Who wants both auto scaling group and that and questions? Okay, cool. So nearly a lot of people are doing. Okay, cool. So perfect. Let's give a round of applause.
Right.
First time, guys. First time presenting. Let's all be very neat.
Okay. Okay. Thanks everyone. So basically, okay, yeah. Uh, so basically, let's say we have our business is doing really well, okay, and we are getting a lot of traffic on our application, a lot that is hosting the city instance, right? Now, the thing is, if we are having too much traffic going into an instance, it can overload the server, which can cause it to crash. So that means the application might actually not run anymore, and we don't want that. So there are two ways to actually solve this. One is vertical scaling that I think Manu already mentioned. That's when you actually replace your instance with a stronger instance with like better CPU, better GPU, better RAM, all of that. Or we can do horizontal scaling, where we have the same EC2 instance running. However, we have duplicates of it. So now we have different instances that have we have different instances with the same CPU and the same RAM and the GPU, and now traffic is actually distributed across all the networks. But there's two ways to actually do this. One is to either manually actually set up all the EC2 instances, or we can actually use something called auto scaling groups. Now, in auto scaling groups, we basically have our instances being set up depending on how much traffic we're actually getting into our application. So yeah, let's get on to the demo now.
Yes, so once again, just so that you guys are aware, this is an important topic. That's why I'm just going over it. So we have vertical scaling and horizontal scaling.
Right.
So if you want to just quickly explain, let's say we have T2 micro.
Right.
Okay. Okay. How, and if you want to, okay, why is it not? T2 micro. If you want to go vertical scaling, how would it be?
So we go for, I don't know the exact name of the instance, but you go for an instance which has a better RAM, a better CPU, and a better GPU.
So exactly what you do is for vertical scaling, you go to T3. Now, if you want to go horizontal scaling, so this way, you just create multiple different T2 micros. Think about it that way. So you can just increase the capacity, go to T3, or you can go multiple different T2 micros. That is horizontal. Perfect. Soham, keep on going.
Yeah. So now let's get on to the actual console where we'll be creating the auto scaling groups. So yeah, let's do that. Right here. Yeah, there's also one more option, guys. There's an auto scaling. Please don't click on that. It's called auto scaling groups. So yeah, let's go in there. Let's name it as demo ESG for now. And I think Manu already created the launch template.
Yes.
Yeah, so the launch template is basically because when we have more traffic going into our instance, we actually don't know, the ASG doesn't know which type of instance to create to handle the traffic. So we need a blueprint, right? So that's where the template actually comes in place. So we'll choose this. Okay. Now, yeah, we can actually put our ASG into a VPC, which is basically a logically isolated network where all our AWS resources that we have hosted stays within. For now, we'll just be working with the VPC that already exists. And also we can host our ASG, the instances in our ASG in different availability zones. And for now, we'll choose all three that are available to us. Yeah, is everyone following along? Yeah.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
What is the VPC?
VPC is a logically isolated part of AWS. So basically that's where all your like resources in AWS stay within. So basically it's sort of staying away from any external attackers that might try to tamper with your resources. So yeah.
So it's like a room that you create. So you know how we host this room, and now we're showing you the resources. That is essentially virtual private cloud for you. Okay. Let's say we're making EC2 instances. I'm not using the whole AWS, which is the university. We're using this room. That is a virtual private room.
Yeah. Okay. For the next part. Okay. So I think Hassan already created the load balancer. So we'll be just attaching that to the ASG. So yeah, let's go here. Select the target group. Okay, just take the demo TG that you already created with previously for this. So yeah. Okay, this is just extra additional things. This is out of the scope for the exam, so we won't be messing around with this stuff for now. Okay, now we have a minimum and a maximum desired capacity for our auto scaling group. So the minimum is actually based on scaling policy that we implement into our ESG. This is actually, oh, sorry,
Then what next?
health checks. Oh yeah, you can just leave that part for now. It's actually out of the scope for the certificate, so we don't need to like mess around with that stuff for now.
So let's slow down.
Okay, okay.
Okay, it's maybe 1.5.
Okay, 1.5. Okay.
We over how we pass the health checks, and when we actually go into troubleshooting, let's say when we create our own startups and everything, we'll tell you what we need to be looking for, okay, for health checks and everything. So right now, do not worry about it. We already have so much information that you're going to pass out. So let's just go slowly. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this assessment for this step? If anyone passes on step 4, no, really?
Okay. Yeah, move on. Okay, yeah. So we have a minimum and a maximum desired capacity for our auto scaling groups. The minimum is actually decided by something called scaling policy, which is actually out of the scope for this certificate. So we won't be getting into that for now. And then we have maximum desired capacity. So let's say we have our business is doing really well. Okay, we are getting a lot of traffic on our application, but however, we don't have the capital to actually host that many EC2 instances. We don't want our business to go like broke. So that's why we have a maximum desired setup as well. For now, let's set it up as 4. So yeah, this that. Yeah, this. Oh yeah. So desired, let's keep it as 3. This is basically the number of instances that will be running just by default in your ASG. So yeah, this is just additional settings. Again, no need to mess around here. Just click next. Yeah, now notifications are basically sent to the user whenever like an EC2 instance in your ASG is terminated or a new one is created. So yeah, for now.
How do the notifications come to people?
Oh, it's through the Amazon SNS.
Very good. So simple notification service. Okay. You have 2 things you need to remember for the exam: SES, simple email service, and SNS. All right, simple notification service. So you'll get a notification on your phone, whatever you've logged in with, and it will say that, hey, you have increased your capacity, or you're about to reach your capacity. What you're gonna do? They will just send you a notification. Good job, Sohan.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Whether it's also,
Oh, yeah.
is it SaaS or is it PaaS?
SaaS or PaaS, SES?
No, it's SNS both.
I think it's I think it's all the
So essentially, for your SNS, that is your software as a service,
Alright.
not going to be as a platform as a service, because you are not managing the application or anything. Think about it, any email or anything that is your software as a service. Okay, good job, Sohan.
Thank you. Thank you for all the compliments, man. Okay, yeah. For the tags, this is basically when you have an extremely large infrastructure with like a lot of auto scaling groups and many instances within that. And like when you have so many ASGs running together, we just need a way to filter them out if you want to like edit some of them here and there. So that's when you use tags to actually attach it to auto scaling groups. For now, we just have a very simple, yeah, just a label. So yeah, we don't need that for now. So yeah, let's move on. And yeah, this is just a review for everything that we just did. So yeah.
Sohan does not so he does not review.
I mean, you can, but like this very simple. Not gonna lie. So yeah, let's just create the auto scaling group. Yeah, here we go. We set up, and it should be running now. Yeah. Let's see. Actually, let's go to our instances. Actually, no. Let's see the instances. Okay, yeah. Here's all the instances that was created. So since we have a desired capacity of 3, 3 instances have been created. So that they need to actually start running now.
Why is one stop?
I stopped that.
Yeah.
Okay. But the other ones that are running is the ones that we just create. So which one is the actual instance? Can someone? Which one is the parent instance? Like the one that starts off everything? Is it this one?
The bottom one. This
Okay, perfect. So guys, remember it is basically the same instance. This is what. Thank you. What kind of scaling would you say this is? Very good, very good. Horizontal scaling, right? Can you explain why?
Because we're not changing the size of one instance, rather we're duplicating it.
Exactly, right? So how I explain horizontal scaling and vertical scaling, think about it this way. In my family, my in-laws come in. I'm not married. In-laws come in, they eat a lot. Okay, they eat a lot. I need to get a bigger house. They're fat. Okay, I need to get a very big house. Or what I can do is I can just buy the units next to me, which are all same house, and I can just let them stay in that same house. Okay, that is what I say. Okay, cool.
Such a natural man. Anyway, yeah. So I think this is done for the demo. Thank you, guys. And now we have Harshit.
It's me.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll
We
reset
have,
the reset. No, first we reset.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll get paid for it.
Yeah,
Okay,
so-
question.
Yeah.
How do we think, like, if we want to change anything?
Oh, yeah. So just go to the search of auto scaling groups again. You can just go here, click on it, and you can just edit whatever you want in here. So if you want to change the desired capacity, the minimum, the maximum, you can just do it here. So,
If some of you are getting confused, it should say EC2 feature under the auto scaling. There's another feature which is not relevant. Just be careful with that, okay?
okay, now we move on to.
Oh, yeah. So guys, if you're feeling like a bit left out or something, it's normal. It happens to every one of us. I just actually wanted to say that this will be actually uploaded to YouTube. I would say at least go through it twice or something. Once just to actually perfect all the steps. Like so you get the practice.
I know you're smart. You can do it once.
Yeah. And second time actually go through it in order to basically see what you weren't able to understand, what kind of questions pop up in your head. Note them down, everything, and then obviously use any kind of AI that you want to basically explore how it is relevant for your cloud practitioner or what more you want to learn. And obviously, in the prompt, you will actually you have to actually mention a lot of things. If you want to actually maybe learn a little bit more, so make sure that it doesn't incur additional charges or whatever, like safety things and stuff like that. And on that note, I would also like to say, so next week we will be actually organizing the second workshop of our series called AI Studios, where we will be actually teaching just the same thing, prompt engineering. And soon we will have our week one videos uploaded on the YouTube. Thank you.
Awesome. So that's it for the whole tutorial. I'm just gonna go over the stuff that you guys have to delete, so you guys don't get charged later. So just pay pretty careful attention to this, so that you delete everything that you just created.
Before you came here, you signed a waiver that any money will not come. Not just kidding. If anything, you can just tell me, I'll pay for it. But please, I don't want to. Okay.
This is the most important step.
Yeah. So just make sure you delete everything. So just follow what I'm doing. So first of all, I'm gonna get you guys to. Sorry?
Two people left.
It will be on the video.
Don't worry, it's not gonna get charged like tomorrow. It's gonna get charged like in a month. So yeah, it's gonna be in the video. Yeah.
SEN.
Yeah. So that's all good. So I'm gonna get you guys to go to this auto scaling groups thing here. Select the auto scaling group that we just created. Okay. Click on actions. Delete. And then just all good? All good? Okay. All good? Okay. So just type delete here and then delete. Okay. So that's deleting right now. Just wait.
It is a $200 credit, but you want to make sure well below that. Okay, and it's for a year. Yeah, after a year, then it will be out. How much money are we talking about here? It's not like what? No. Wait, that's a genuine question.
We said 3 micro, right? So free tier EC2 instance. So you're not putting it's basically going to be like 10 cents or something.
Oh, okay.
It's so
No, you're not going to be charged. It's free.
If anything that happens, right?
Account is responsible. If you're out of the free tier, that's what happens.
Because this thing went a lot today. Next time I'm buying copies for everybody.
Oh.
However many people got so and scale automatically.
And just so you have seen that there is a lot of terminal projects like Burn and these things, right? And the startup is started. So it is basically one of those things, like maintaining that infrastructure, more may cost of basically renting that PCP. Yeah, infrastructure. Yeah, the more intensive a code is built, it has like some machine learning features, some Gen AI features, something like that. The more the cost comes. Actually,
So I paid for it. AWS actually pays for it.
just big ones. They put it in this actually. Yeah. How did you guys learn this?
How do you do this? I thought
You taught everyone that, didn't you? Right?
yes.
No. Yeah. So you
My
might
bad. He's slapped the shit out of me and
That's not getting each other.
I've been like, the questions I ask you in the car, he's always asking me. If I don't answer, he just drops me off the car and have to walk. I swear to God, he's done that.
Yeah, that's why he runs 13 kilometers.
awesome. Okay, so if you guys have any questions with that, feel free to ask. It's pretty important. No, not all of them. Just for auto scaling. All right. So everyone deleted it?
It's still
It's still deleted. That's fine. It's on deleting, right? Okay. Awesome. Okay. So
delete versus pause kind of like I think we can watch the screen deleting and pausing.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we're just deleting that now. Okay, so we just did auto scaling. We'll just go from like bottom to the top. So we'll go to target groups next. Click on target group here. And again, same process, select it, actions, and delete.
So many steps.
Click on delete.
It's currently busy.
Oh, wait, is it because of the auto scaling?
I think it has to delete first.
Okay, we'll just wait for this. Okay, target groups might not get deleted just because auto scaling is still being deleted. So we'll come back to this, but we'll move on to the security groups over here. Should get deleted,
You
right?
don't have to. Yeah. It won't be charged anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
Just say
this
that one.
one's also-
Yeah, so if the security groups, you won't be charged because they're just groups and you're putting EC2 instances into it.
Yeah. So don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just have to wait until this deletes. It's not gonna.
So even
Yeah.
the target group also doesn't get charged.
Yeah.
Target groups don't get charged.
Raj, you know? Yeah, you can-
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the instances.
AWS.
Right? But like not months, right? So minutes at least, right? Minutes,
Yeah.
months, right? Any for you guys, what can we do? Plus is computer shit.
Oh wow.
Right.
I have the same one.
No, I have M5, 32 gigabytes RAM.
Okay, bro. Okay.
I'm faster, I'm better.
Or maybe you can delete the EC2 instances.
No, because if I don't, like, the instances will just get created because this is still running.
Yeah.
Do we put out a video?
Yeah, we should put out a video.
No, like, this doesn't.
So basically, consider security. Yes, then it's faster than that. Oh, yeah, we can put sure.
Because it's getting rid of each of server bus and also the unique Wi-Fi security.
It usually takes long to delete an AS2.
Maybe there's someone on the same page.
Yeah.
Most of us, yeah.
Some of us are masters are not, right? Like some of us are who not in here, but like in our team. Also some of the same nature. Two of our friends. IT or computer is offices and fashion. Yeah. You guys have this in class? No, no. But by the way, in Unimel, because AWS recently partnered up with Unimel, we are actually going to deploy our own cloud subject. So before I leave this university, I'm talking to the university as well to deploy this subject as a for part of the subject for masters and for bachelors as well. Swinburne has it. If shit university like Swinburne has it, why can't we?
Actually, Monash also has it.
Also, so if enough is said, then right.
Done? Yeah, done. Let's see. After, yeah. Okay, so you guys, it might have finished, so you might see the screen now. Everyone got it deleted? Perfect. Awesome. Okay. Sorry?
Load balancers.
Oh yeah, the load balancer. So that's what we're going to move on to. So yeah, just go to load balancer, click on it. This won't take that long. It's just auto scaling groups that took a while. But same thing, click on the load balancer and click on delete load balancer. Just type in confirm and delete.
And also, guys, the coffee thing is real. So just send me your audio on Instagram.
It's real for key pairs.
Yeah, okay, we'll put
Key pairs? No, no.
Delete the key pairs.
Do they get charged?
like soy milk and
No.
okay.
Just like keys.
Yeah.
Keys tag.
But I'll get it for you.
So locally anyway.
Everything's done.
All done?
Yeah.
I'll just show this to you.
Cool. Guys, all done. You're not going to be charged anymore.
Do you guys, if you go to instances over here, just confirm if you guys see everything as terminated over here, like that.
Just search up instances.
You click on refresh.
Few instances.
Yes.
Nice. So, click on those selectors from okay, just terminate go on easy expenses and then tablet this. Yeah, sorry. Sometimes the auto scaling doesn't get deleted and then save back on it.
Just trying to get it's the one step process. You have to go through the auto scaling first, then you have to delete this. But now it's everything is done. You're not going to be charged. Are you all done now? With the practice?
It's normal.
Security, they won't charge you. Yes. They just
It's not.
Okay.
It's just the auto scaling.
Thank you.
What's up?
The difference between stopping and then terminating and
Just say it out loud now.
I'm not sure. Like stopping an instance means I just want to make it clear.
Terminated is actually proper. Stopping means just pausing it.
Yeah. So guys, the difference between stopping an instance and terminating an instance is that if you terminate an instance, you're completely shutting it down. You have to create a brand new one. Whereas stopping it means is you're just pausing the instance and you can instantiate it back with the same configurations. Okay.
We still get quoted if it's stopped.
No. If it's stopped, it's not running anymore. So you don't get forced. That's the difference. Yeah.
So the default security group, you have to delete
Okay.
Oh my God. I mean, guys, I don't have anyone to talk to. My mom doesn't even message me. So,
You don't have to, because this
oh,
stuff doesn't have to charge. Even if you leave the deletes.
Okay.
And so we just go to your instances, checks. They're all
okay. Everyone ready?
Yes.
Everyone ready, guys? Guys, let's go. Yeah?
Yeah.
Last 4 questions, okay? Then we are done. Then we are done. Which of the following cloud design principles supports growth in users, traffic, or data size with no drop in performance?
First one.
Yo, crazy. Who said that? Can you please explain him? Okay, yeah, I know that.
So scalability.
Oh, I'm muted. 1 second. Wait. I'm on mute. 1 second. Yo. Cool. Now I can. Come on. Okay. So you said why?
Because yes. Because scalability means if one instance is down, we have another instance.
Okay.
Scalability means the horizontal and vertical thing.
Good. Very good. Cool. So that is your scalability, right? You can do horizontal scaling, vertical scaling. Which one's horizontal? This way? That's horizontal. Vertical this way. Yeah. Okay. So go serverless to reduce compute footprint. Why is that wrong? Okay. Design for failure. Why is that wrong? No, guys. No. So this is pessimistic thinking, okay? Even AWS says that yes, we need to design for failure, but it's saying growth. We need to figure out growth right now. Decouple basically means, okay, there are two kinds of things, okay? Tight coupling and loose coupling, okay? Tight coupling basically means one thing is dependent on the other thing, and you have to, if one fails, the other one basically can't run. Loose coupling essentially basically means you run a queue, you know queue, right? Like last in, first out thingy, LIFO, right? You run a queue and you say that you put it in a queue, okay? Like this one will run, now the next one will run at the same time. It's not tightly coupled with each other, which means that it does not matter if one fails. Even if one fails, the other one can run. However, that does not make sense here because we're talking about growth once again. So scalability is the correct answer. Now, this one is a little bit difficult. I don't want anybody to scream answers here. I want everyone to discuss. What is a company wants to launch a Microsoft SQL Server database in AWS. The database instance should only be managed by company's DBA, and that is why I said DBA today in the theory class, if anyone remembers, and must be accessible via RDP. A standard license for SQL Server is required by the company and is not yet sure how much CPU and memory to allocate to the database. Which option gives the most convenience and flexibility to determine the best database size while still being cost effective? Think. There's nobody. You guys help out, right? Manu, I want you to answer this as well. Read the question and see if you can answer. Very hard question, guys. This, I mean, does not come in the exam per se, but whoever gets it will surely pass the exam. Keywords, guys. Only hit this keywords. Pin drop size.
How about you walk us through how you
Okay. Cool. So I'll take my highlighter out now. Okay, because this one is keywords question. A company wants to launch Microsoft SQL. First keyword, Microsoft. In AWS. That's fine. Database instance should be managed by the company's DBA, database agreement, and must be accessible via RDP. That is basically accessed by their own company's system. A standard license for SQL Server is required. but the company is not yet sure how much CPU and memory to allocate. So it does not want to guess its capacity. What's up? What's up? Oh, fuck. Which option gives the most convenience and flexibility to determine the best database style whilst being cost effective? First is use a Windows server with SQL Server Standard bundled AMI, so you won't need to buy and manage your own license. Now it says company's DBA. It checks that because it's Windows Server, Microsoft Windows, same thing. You won't need to buy and manage your own license, so it's cost effective, so it checks that. So this potentially could be the right answer. Launch an EC2 instance and install Microsoft SQL Server. Purchase a standard MS SQL license, that is expensive, from Microsoft, and apply it to your database install. This potentially could be the right answer, but it is not cost effective. So I'm going to say no. Launch an RDS instance that runs Microsoft SQL Server Standard. Purchase a standard MS SQL and store it in your AWS managed server. Now, we do not know how much CPU and memory to allocate, so we do not know how we can actually launch this instance. So unfortunately, launch an Amazon Aurora database that runs MS SQL Server. Buy a standard MS SQL license. So once again, you're buying something. This is again not cost effective. Leaving us with this answer. Keywords, guys. Microsoft, Windows. Then you see that you don't need to buy and manage your own license. That's cost effective. That's all you need to go. This is nothing related to AWS. This is just tricking you, and this will, something similar to this will come in your exam. Okay, got it? Any question? Perfect. Now everyone should answer this, right? Very good. Infrastructure as a service. Very good, very good. A startup, now last question, guys. A startup is developing a mobile application with a database server to store user data. The app is expected to grow rapidly, and the company needs a flexible and scalable database service that can handle unpredictable traffic and workload spikes. Which service should the startup use if they need a scalable, fast, and flexible, non-relational database? So, very good. Why did you say DynamoDB?
It's not SQL, it's stores their key value data.
Perfect.
It's scalable for high quantity.
Exactly. So let me go over this in little bit more detail. When we go over DynamoDB, we will actually teach you this. DynamoDB uses JSON format, and the keyword in the exam you need to look for is non-relational database or NoSQL database. Okay. As soon as you see that, DynamoDB is the answer. Nothing. Don't even think about it. Just click DynamoDB and leave it to God. Okay. It is correct. So JSON format. It basically says primary key pair, right? So essentially, I say name is Suresh. All right. Age, no, probably not age. Phone number is 0416319295, because I'm not going to give you my phone number. So that is basically what your DynamoDB is. All right. Any questions? Anything that you guys want? No, did you guys understand that? What DynamoDB is? Not okay, cool. So the question asks scalable, fast, and flexible non-relational database. You need to look at this keyword right here. As soon as you see non-relational, you check DynamoDB. RDS is relational database storage. Okay. S3, well, it's not scalable. Okay, you can't scale S3. S3 is your storage bucket, right? You store your things like raw metadata into it. Like if I give my audio files into it, I can store it raw metadata into S3. And Redshift is your OLTP warehousing tool, online transactional protocol. Okay, so it is used for banks and things like that. It's a data warehousing tool. This will definitely come in your question. Redshift always comes in. Just remember two words for that: data warehousing and OLTP. If you see OLAP, that is Aurora. Okay, keywords, guys. Remember that. All good? Capiche? We studied. Yeah, studied this.
It's kind of like a noise keyword.
It is, it is. When we show you DynamoDB in another practical, right? It's NoSQL. It is very fast. It has sub-millisecond latency. Okay, so either you can use RDS. RDS is relational database. Okay, it's more secure, it's more like robust. DynamoDB is like fast, right? You want sub-millisecond, you want something access from a table, you want to create a bedrock LLM, you want to create your knowledge base. You add that into your DynamoDB and you can access the information right to the bedrock LLM. So it does not have latency. That's the benefit of DynamoDB. Got it?
DynamoDB is basically like
Everyone got it right?
yes.
Perfect. So guys, can we end? Do I not get a round of applause?